We're here at this particular point because you can see two contrasting landscapes between the Austrian border and the Czech border, the Czech landscape. And it's that woodlot there just to the left is the czech-austrian border, and on the one side you see this landscape that's divided into longer narrow strips which would be owned by various individuals, and on the other side you have the Czech landscape, which is this really you can see one large field that's the result of the collectivization that happened after World War II. So you have this clear boundary between two different agroecology systems, two different ownership patterns, two different cultures, two different histories. The Austrian landscape, there's some degree of continuity of generations of farming the land and knowledge of how to do that, knowledge of the soil, knowledge of the crops, and all the network of social relationships. Whereas in the Czech landscape, first of all, the German population, the German culture that farmed this landscape, they were removed. And so then you had people coming in who did not have experience of generations of farming, and they were also farming in this new collective strategy and this new collective organization, which in a sense was an experiment. And then after 1989, what do? What happens? So once these lines got erased, they haven't been reinscribed. So it's a landscape in transition. First of all, it's cross-cultural. There's students here from France, from Czech Republic, from Austria, and our students from the United States, different parts of the United States, from the north and the south. So this bringing together these cultural experiences and then finding the ways to communicate around a common problem, and also cross-disciplinary. There's landscape architects, urban studies, landscape ecology. So that's necessary to bring those different disciplines together to understand any landscape.
Remember when I showed you CZ and then AT?
Weidhofen, I say this quickly here, is the next biggest regional capital. Yeah? Also on the Austrian side, the district Weidhofen is the poorest district in Austria. Highest unemployment rate, lowest income. Very similar to here. Yeah? So those border regions are very precarious places. So a lot of people move out.
It's a global trend.
Yeah.
Everywhere
Urbanization.
the world is like the cities are growing bigger and the villages are more empty. So.
But it's a hope to also have people settle here on both sides, which is happening. People say like the artists are coming, but those artists that are coming are independent people who actually bring some income and who actually build the houses and do something. So I am an optimist. I think as things get more difficult in the big cities, people will start to move back to the countryside. At least you can grow some food here, if you still have some land.
And we have to, in Austria, we are working in one of the 9 provinces. It's called Lower Austria. So it's one province, it's the biggest with about 1 million people. It's not very urban. We are working for municipalities and for firms. And when you look at the slide, you can see our 3 topics which we try to do. The first, energy efficiency, energy saving, really as a point and target. The second is eco-energy production, and the third is eco-energy procurement. If you can't produce it for yourself, it's a question where to get it. Our mission is to help firms, municipalities to get an energy supply 100% of renewable energy.
Here's another region, just 11% is home production and 89% is imported energy, the black one. And during 20 years we have to bring the demand down around 40%, and on the other way we have to increase the production of the region by wind, by solar energy, by biomass, by hydropower.
Humanity as a whole has to think how much can we need, because the world is round, but it's not unendlich. Endless. Yes.
So
this silage is produced for this
this container contains 3,000 cubics.
Some things that are happening here, which I didn't know about, and I don't think other people know about, which I think are significant and interesting ideas for sustainable landscapes. And also to, for instance, the carp ponds. What an amazing complex ecosystem that's managed for food production. So food and landscape are two things that relate to every discipline and everybody.
And now Tom is going to take a group into the underground, and we've got to split up.
Who wants to go to the tower can go now. 9:45 will be open the tower.
Yes.
So let's follow. One of the places will be very, very tiny. So, but you okay.
Slavonice is one of the few places in the whole region, Austria or Czech, where people actually move into to have the kids here, because it's safe and there is community. So sustainability here is a day-by-day kind of thingy.
Here is our house and the office, and this is the oldest part of the mill. Here we are still producing special flours, and we are also milling, for instance, organic coffee for a supermarket, or millet, just different kinds of specialities. And in this light grey building, there are machines. They are called extruders. And this was the last building, the dark grey one, was built in the late 90s. There is our new mill and the flour silos, and in the back, we can't see it from here, are the grain silos. Okay, we will start. If you want to, we can start in the storage, and then we go from the new mill to the extruder division, and from there on to the old mill, and then we can have a quick look at the water power station. Okay, and then in the back of the building there is the river. Yeah, this is different kinds of flours. The W stands for wheat, yeah, and then there usually is a R. It stands for rye flour. These are typically shortages in a flour mill. Yeah? We produce organic. We are not allowed to use any pesticides and stuff, and of course we also have got problems with bugs and I don't know, moths. You say moths? You're the things that are flying around, yeah, and driving us crazy. And you get pesticides that are allowed in organic factories, but they are pretty much useless. Yeah, they don't help a lot. And so we started a few years ago with I don't know the English name. In German it's Nützlinge. Yeah, it's very, very small insects, like similar to wasps, like bees, but a little bit, but they are 0.2 millimeters small, yeah, so very small, and they eat the eggs and the little babies of those moths.
Brown flower, and I don't know if you want to taste it. It smells quite bitter and. I don't know the English name.
And it's now time to hear from the Food and Energy with brief reports on what you heard today in your interviews. As you know, there were 6 interviews, at least. Let's begin. Who wants to start first with your report on, okay, I'll just say. Okay, so when you speak, please speak loudly enough. So everybody can hear. Thank you.
We stopped at the Energy Agency of the Region, which is a non-profit organization.
He got the farm back. His father used to own a farm before the Soviet occupation, and then through restitution, he was given the farmland back that used to be his father's. And it's just him, his father, and his wife who work on the farm. He has no other laborers, and his son who goes to school in Prague also comes and works on the farm sometimes when he's on breaks.
They harvest 15 million cubic meters of woods every year, and every year they have an increase in the amount of wooded area because they harvest less than what is grown. The maximum area they can harvest at a time is 1 hectare.
Okay, thank you.
Me and Iris, we were in Petersburg, and then we had a route to back to the Slavonice, like 7 kilometers. And on the way, we met like 10 trucks full of the raw logs, heading from Czech Republic to Austria, and back the empty trucks back to Czech Republic. So.
And of these that are methodological, are there some that are more similar than others?
Those and those are like.
Okay, and how are they different?
Maybe people who join that can explain.
This group of 5, we've heard about irises.
Okay, this is about create a network. And also because this system can work if there's people, it's important to have to use the opportunities of the area to create an attractive region.
Here is not something like a big city or many people here. It's just a region of countryside. So I think we should keep it more natural and more near the landscape, and make here is a good, make the life here is very different from the big cities. So the main task maybe is to make this region more self-reliant and more natural. Have more connection with the landscape.
Okay.
If we want to make a town sustainable, the landscape has to be sustainable too, at first. And I think that if we create a reliant town, it could attract people from Republic to live in and to visit this place.
The maize, that they, as I said, they don't have much roots, so they won't rest, they won't leave much organic matter, they don't give much organic matter back to the soil.
Continuing this exchange, bringing students back to the United States, for instance, the Czech students, Austrian students, and get their take on our landscapes. So yeah, I think there's a lot of possibilities for this continued exchange and exploration.